Hey, the choke thing made sense to me. Go with it.
Think It Up is an initiative to activate
What up? What up? What up?
teacher-led learning projects. Students and teachers, how can you spark great learning experiences in your classrooms today? Join at thinkitup.org. At the tone, please record your message.
Drop it. Mr. Tavis Smiley, preach it. Thank you, man. Politics in this country is crazy. You put things in perspective that even I didn't. The right is playing fast and loose with facts and scapegoating everyone under the sun, especially black and brown people. As a white man, I do not agree with this, and I am on my black and brown brothers and sisters' side. Fight the good fight. We know that I am part of the resistance.
What up, y'all?
Freedom of speech, there's freedom of death. We got to fight the powers that be. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got your black.
I'm calling your show, cause I need to know. Show me which way to go before I throw my man out the door.
Okay, hold on a second, Keisha. Just let me ask Ronald exactly what's going on, because it takes two to tango, and I need to hit his side of the story. So she's driving me insane, the stress heavy on my brain.
What up? What up? What up?
And I'm about to bring the pain. We seem to fuss and fight every day and every night. Please give some advice so we can see the light. See the
Ronnie, what up? Phil, what up, Phil? Paparazzi on the clock at the foundry. Jack Brazen. It's tomorrow, Jack. But thank you. Birthday Eve. Hit that like button.
Therefore, wherever you find the self is one.
ఇటువంటి ఏకత్వాన్ని మీరు గుర్తించడానికి తగిన కృషి చేయాలి.
Make every attempt and effort to know this one.
మీ యొక్క చదువులు ఎందుకు ఏకత్వ భావం చాలా గొప్పది.
In your learning, the feeling of oneness is exalted.
ఏకత్వ భావాన్ని గుర్తించాలి.
The feeling of oneness you have to
సర్వము ఏకమైపోతుంది.
Everything gets unified.
ద్వేషము, అసూయ, కష్టములు ఏమాత్రం మనకు చలగవు.
There will be no hatred, there will be no difficulty.
దుఃఖం వచ్చినా మనం ఏడ్చము.
You will never cry and be bothered.
బాధలు కలిగినా విచారం చేయము.
You will not be worried of any difficulties.
అద్వైత సిద్ధాంతం.
Then that is not dualism.
అదే నిజమైన ఆనందం.
That is true bliss.
అది దైవం పైన మీ మనసు పెట్టండి.
And concentrate on God.
ఆ ఆజ్ఞ మీరు శిరసా వహించండి.
Follow His command.
అన్నిటినీ మీరు ఉద్ధారం చేసుకుంటారు.
And then you will get yourself emancipated.
Come on, it's birthday Eve for the Voice of Reason live from KBLA Talk 1580. You already know what it is. You know, when we start with Sai Baba, talking about the oneness, discovering the oneness within oneself, What oneness? The sense that you don't really need anything. No one can bring you something that is inherently a part of you, inherently within you, inherently you. Which leads us to our topic tonight. Because of the movie Sinners, there has been this resurgence in African American spirituality, namely hoodoo. And first off, I can't really say there's been an emergence. It's always been here. But it's getting a little cinema love, right? It's getting some cinema love. So our people who are somewhat ignorant, in general, there are some out there that aren't, but in general, our people are not really in the know of some of the old school beliefs that came from Africa, that came from the Americas before, the Mayflower and all them folk came up. Before then, we had a spiritual practice. Now, what's interesting about tonight's topic, because there's been this resurgence in African spirituality, I think people don't understand the rules. You can't use African spirituality to bind or bond people to you. There's always a cost. There's always a cost. Oh, so about to get weird tonight. Yes, I am. And it's important. It's important work tonight. So I'm always mentioning this, and eventually I'm going to have her back on because she's one of my favorite people in the world, and that is Dr. Jashana Johnson. And she brought up something about a year and a half, maybe almost 2 years now, that basically, called out the love languages, Chapman's love languages. And she was like, oh, the love languages, I don't really like them because they could emerge from attachment wounds. And so tonight's topic, because, we love fads. It's in style now to do African spirituality. You can't do any form of spirituality. You can't practice any form of spirituality if you're not working on self, because whatever is corrupted in you will corrupt the practice, especially if you try to weaponize the practice, whatever it may be. There's some people who weaponize Christianity, huh? That's where church hurt comes from, right? Let's not forget about the spiritual narcissist within modern day religious constructs. So just because I'm talking about African spirituality, don't go sit on your high horse as if it doesn't touch you. It does. It does. Lord have mercy. Here you go. Tonight's topic, the love conjurer. I'm saying, wait a minute. You're weaponizing magic in the same way you would weaponize a love language? Because your mama wasn't emotionally attuned to your needs, your partner must be, or it's a deal breaker? Yeesh, that's a weaponization. That's coming from, that's a weaponization of the love language that's coming from an insecure attachment. The love conjurer. A deeper look at the real reason your partner resents you. Are you conjuring more attachment, or are you becoming love? In a bold blend of ancient African spiritual tradition and modern clinical insights, tonight's episodic exploration challenges our usual understanding of love. It suggests that popular love languages and ritual practices, while seemingly affectionate, may actually hide deep emotional wounds from past traumas. By examining insights from hoodoo traditions alongside contemporary neuroscience and psychology, this provocative inquiry of questions whether our bonds are truly authentic or just habits formed by unhealed attachment scars. Have you ever tried to bind somebody to you? Have you ever heard of someone trying to bind someone to them so that they couldn't find anyone else, or trying to sabotage their relationship if they left you through magic? Spell work? It's a real thing out here in these streets. Right? Tonight's topic calls us to look beyond surface level expressions of love and consider a more genuine, transformative path to healing and connection. A radical perspective that dares us to rethink how we bond and truly love each other. So you mean to tell me some folk would rather try to put a spell on somebody than do the work of healing their own internal wounds? 1-800-920-1580. Get to your phone lines. I want to know. Attachment transmutation from insecure bonding to authentic love. Your psychological insight. Unresolved childhood wounds and trauma bonding underpin a reliance on ritualistic attachment, creating repetitive cycles of neediness and validation. Your philosophical insight. As existential thinkers argue, the self must transcend predetermined roles to embrace authentic transformation beyond attachment. You mean there is relationship beyond attachment? Absolutely. But first, you must unattach yourself to your attachment style. How do you do that? Discover what your attachment style is. The alchemy of inner transmutation, akin to ancient hoodoo rituals, demand that we convert binding spells into pathways for self-love. See, you want to bind the person to you, not knowing that you're actually binding your unhealed wound to you, because that's the one who's calling for the spell. The unhealed wound. They're going to leave you. That's an abandonment issue. They're going to leave. They're going to find somebody else. Let me ruin their current relationship with a spell. Research in attachment theory demonstrates that self-compassion training significantly reduces insecure attachment patterns. The illusion of the love conjurer, debunking ritualistic attachments. Ritual bonding often masks deep-rooted insecurities, serving as a protective shield against genuine vulnerability. You can't do a ritual, right? Listen to what I'm about to say. You can't do a ritual to get everything you want from the outside without it costing something that comes from within. I said it in the last show. African spirituality, Ifa practice, what do they say? They say Iwa Puele. What is Iwa Puele? Good character. People just want the power to get what they want. But they don't realize that they have the power to heal what's within. You've been taught, right? You've been taught that everything you want comes from the outside, but that isn't correct. That isn't accurate. Do you understand? Are you dating a kitchen magician? I didn't even know about this. I'd never heard of it. Kitchen magicians. And I guess if you think back, I mean, I can remember my big mama. She died when she was 88. In 98, she was 88. So, wow. Listen, she knew every plant. She knew how to heal folk. And we not taking Tylenol. We not taking this. I'm going to get them right. Do you understand? But there is such a thing as a kitchen magician. What? When culinary rituals become spiritual crutches. The repeated performance of domestic rituals, cooking. No, listen, I'm going to take all the fancy words off of it. I remember, don't eat no spaghetti at that girl's house. Don't go to that girl's house and eat no food. What is this? A spiritual Spanish fly? And nobody wants to put it that way, right? A spiritual Mickey? Don't go over there and eat that girl food now, especially no red food. Can we? Y'all know, man. I'm gonna hit us with topics that nobody is talking about. A spiritual roofie, exactly, Nzinga. Now you know if you gotta stoop to that level to keep somebody, that should be your indicator that there's a lot of work that must be done from the inside. You got work to do. Do you understand? So in a lot of ways, this whole magic thing, because now even women of the Abrahamic faiths, not that it's a new thing, because back during slavery, many slaves, men and women, hid their African beliefs within Christianity and Islam. They couched it in there, right? So, but now you're starting to see a lot of traditional Christian women who will say, I'm not religious, I'm spiritual, right? But yet I practice Christianity, will light a candle and do a ritual. What? Kitchen magicians? They're using it the same way they weaponize the attachment styles, right? Jashana Johnson dropped a bar on me that day. She said, brother, the attachment or the love languages probably comes, right, from insecure attachment styles. Gifts, physical touch, quality time. Think about it. Are you telling me now, on top of the love languages, we got kitchen magicians doing rituals to bind you from doing any other stuff? I bind you from cheating. Everything you do, I bind you. Or I bind you from leaving. Spellbound attachment. Unpacking the paradox of ritual-based intimacy. When we come forward, the voice of reason on his birthday eve gonna keep it cooking. If y'all don't call in and talk about this, stay with me, boy oil. Come on. Tapped in, you gotta call in. Attila gotta call in. Nzinga gotta call in. Y'all gotta call in. I wanna hear from y'all. Hey, listen, it's my birthday eve. Y'all not gonna see me tomorrow. So support the channel tonight. The easiest way is to hit the like button. It doesn't cost you anything. That's the easiest way. The like button. Support, support, support. Like it, like it, like it. But if you want to do more, you can support the channel. There's a $sign at the bottom of the chat. Hit the $sign, drop a 5 spot, whatever you can. If you don't want me to wait for that birthday gift, shoot it to my Cash App. My Cash App is $sign Zoe What Netter. Support your brother tonight. I'm going to be turned up for the rest of the weekend. I'm going to be chilling. Y'all support your brother, all right? Can I get y'all to call in? Y'all want to call in? Andy is right there. Yeah, no, I don't do turn up though. I be really just chilling. It's Friday. I'm a chillax the way I've been doing for years. I'm just gonna chill. Hey.
KBLA's Zoe Williams, the voice of reason, and the alpha male of comedy, Ray Grady. We're going to transform
Oh no, I'm not lying.
into stand-up material.
Not 100% sure if Ray gonna be there. We still working that out.
7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time.
Not lying.
Team will disclose all of your data.
I ain't gotta lie. Kick it.
Ray Grady has hand-selected supremely talented comedians to roast all of our tragic.
Oh, okay. No worries.
I dare you to bring your ex's phone.
We hope he comes.
Ray, he's going to text it live, and the crowd will be sourcing emojis. Tickets are moving swiftly, so don't hesitate to grab yours at themiracleinglewood.com before I diagnose your dating history as a pre-existing condition.
It's the voice of reason with Zoe Williams on KBLA Talk 1580.
The first fact that I want to give you is this. Soul ties are biblical. Soul ties are biblical. Please hear me when I say that they are biblical, because you're going to get people that come, you're going to have Christians that come along and they're going to tell you, show me in the Bible, or what have you, and the Bible talks explicitly about soul ties. The only thing is, it just does not use the word soul tie. But it does talk about soul ties, and it gives one of the greatest examples when it talks about David and Jonathan. It says that their souls were knit. And you can talk to somebody who's made up their mind and already decided that, you know, hey, soul ties don't exist or what have you. You can talk to somebody like that. And, you know, the crazy thing about it is once they've made up their mind, they become more determined to be right than they are to be righteous, and that's pride. And so you say, okay, well, the Bible says that David and Jonathan's souls were knit. but it don't say tie. You're like, isn't that a synonym? Isn't that a synonym of tie? Isn't that what that means? But people are determined to be right. But soul ties are biblical. They are in the Bible. All right, number 2, soul ties are established through intimacy and agreement. Soul ties are established through intimacy and agreement. Now, when I say intimacy, don't just think about sex. Yes, you can form a soul tie through sex, but intimacy is opening up your heart. God says, guard your heart, for out of it pours the issues of life. Is intimacy. I can form a soul tie with a close friend by being intimate, meaning I open up my heart and I tell her things about me that most people don't know. I tell her whatever fears I have, whatever vulnerabilities I have, whatever insecurities I have. I open up and I tell her plans that I haven't shared with anybody else. That's what intimacy means. It means to bring close. That's what intimacy means. It means to bring close. Hear me. There are some people out there, they specialize in ungodly soul ties, and I'm going to tell you what they're going to do. What they're going to do is they're going to try to bring you close, okay? They're going to try to bring you close by giving you revelation about themselves, and you're like, dang, that's kind of premature. Why did, I just met this dude, and why is he telling me all of his life secrets and what have you? Because what that does in America, we're reciprocal creatures. So that means once a man...
Oh, no. Oh, no. She done opened a can of whoop tail. Are you telling me that relationships are not only mirrors, holographic mirrors, but also knit? I'm going to use the biblical term. Also knit or sewed in to the fabric of relationships traumatic spells, traumatic wounds are woven into the holographic mirrored environment of intimate relationships. Are you telling me the mask is magic? The mask we wear, the Carl Jungian mask we wear, is magic? You can say it's an illusion, but is it magic on the David Copperfield, David Blaine level? Magic spells, traumatic spells. Who's writing the relationship expectations? Is it your unhealed wounds? And if it is the unhealed wound, is it a magician to present you as something you're not? Whew. So, wow, this is heavy. 1-800-920-1580. Spellbound attachment. Unpacking the paradox of ritual-based intimacy. Binding practices may unconsciously recreate familiar attachment wounds, rendering intimacy a reenactment of past deficits rather than true connection. Whatever the thinker thinks, the prover will prove. As a man thinketh, so is he. What type of wounded spells are you casting, and do they work? When we come forward, the voice of reason gonna dig deeper. What up, y'all? Y'all not calling. I want to talk to y'all. Now, can we talk? My nurse asked to up the dosage for my high cholesterol. I said, do you have something for relationships? She goes, oh, the other silent killer. Wow. Oh, but yes, they work where there is willingness of spirit. That's big. What up, Diamond Blue? I see y'all. Ed Wilson on the Cash App says, happy birthday. Thank you, sir. It's early, but thank you. I appreciate the Cash App. Thank you. I'll shout out anybody that goes to my Cash App and drop a coin or two. Everybody gets a shout out. I promise you that. Y'all talking to me tonight or no? Hit the like button too. We doing good on the likes. It's 39 people in here, or 41 people in here now, and we have 30 likes. So we're doing good. Willingness can mean no spiritual defense. Huh. Willingness, that's like accepting, or that's like inviting the vampire in. That's interesting. Open to it. Yeah. I love it.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. Worried about eviction? You have rights, and Stay Housed LA can help. Stay Housed LA is a
I want to talk to y'all. Tell me what city you guys are in, except for the people that I already know. I know y'all. Y'all don't have to put y'all city in, but the new folk that are in here, people that are just coming in, tell me your city. What city are you representing? What city do you hail from? All my family who are in here right now, I know y'all. I can tell y'all what city y'all in. Untamed Fitness, Phoenix. That's cool. Phoenix, Arizona. DJ Cuts Radio, South Bend, Indiana. There we go. Love that. Love that. Welcome into the Voice of Reason behind the scenes. There's a whole nother KBLA YouTube page, but this is my personal YouTube page. And I be cussing. You know you can't cuss on the radio, right? Those are our rules. You can't cuss on the radio. This is terrestrial radio, live radio. Can't curse. However, during the breaks, I can curse. Brett Watson, Cleveland, Ohio in the building. We are all over the country. I love the fact that you guys are in here. Thank you for liking the channel. Thank you for sharing it, subscribing, all of that. We appreciate it. Jack, I already know you from Suizone, City Cal, Suisun, Suiso, Suisun. I already know. Come on, Stuart, Florida, Marlins, Dolphins, Panthers, Magic. I see you. I see you, Stuart, Florida. SK in the building. Yes. Hey, let me know your city. I want to shout you out. So you need to stop. I just can't pronounce the name of that city, brother. We only need one more like to match the amount of people in here with the likes. And we're almost back from break. Dre was in the town today for the kids, Compton High, ribbon cutting. That's dope. Now that's dope.
Definition of codependency is very, very simple. First, you're not a victim. You're a part of the problem. You're a participant. Codependency is as follows. It is a psychological problem that manifests in relationships. It's a problem of the distribution of love, respect, and care. Codependents give all the love, respect, and care to others, and they expect it to be reciprocated, and it's not. They get upset, they try to control it, and they stay in a relationship. They struggle with intense loneliness and shame and are addicted to their narcissist because of the attachment trauma they experienced as children. The codependency cure understands the dilemma of the human magnet syndrome. Codependents, because of their attachment trauma and all of the foundational explanations for why codependency persists, they understand that it's nearly impossible for their client to break that pattern. And today you're going to learn not only more about that, you're going to learn how to solve it. But if we're going to understand the necessity of this codependency cure work, we have to understand how seemingly intractable, how seemingly permanent, how permanent for so many people codependency is. My mother, my grandmother.
If I'm not mistaken, that's Ross Rossenberg, right? In here cooking. Imagine a person like that going to a practitioner to try to keep their man or woman. I've seen it in person. I've seen a young lady doing a whole ritual for someone, for another young lady. She was trying to get a guy back who informed her it's over. And she said, no, it's not. I'm going to my root worker. I sat there and was watching like, what in the... Yeah, this is a real thing. Do you understand? Ancient spells, as practiced in Hoodoo or Ifa or Yoruba, whatever, reveal that the power of ritual can be both constructive and destructive. A double-edged magical sword, so to speak. Data from longitudinal relationship studies indicate that couples relying on ritualistic expressions often face stagnation without individual growth work. Listen, you don't need no magic. The relationship has its own level of magic. You don't need no magic, right, to keep somebody. You just have to be magical. How do you do that? Do you know how incredibly powerful the human mind, body, soul, and spirit are once we start to individuate, that individuation process? Once we begin to grow up spiritually, you start to tap into higher levels of consciousness, which reveals folds of reality that were hitherto unbeknownst to us. Right? You start to see reality expand before your very eyes. What was once mundane becomes magical, becomes wonderful. But because you're looking at it from a narrow perspective that is governed by unhealed wounds that causes you to show up in a performative sense, to be whatever they need you to be so you can get whatever you need out of them, right? This magic, this pursuit of ritual, right? You don't even believe in the ritual. You're only doing it because somebody said, you know what, this might work. And all you care about is the end result. So you'll try anything, right? The sacred versus the superficial. the dichotomy of attachment and authentic love. Deep emotional resonance is often eroded when love is equated to performative acts, right? Leaving underlying wounds unaddressed. This conflict poses a radical question. Is love an ephemeral performance or a state of profound, unconditioned being? We don't know how to live an unconditioned life. We are so accustomed to the psychological prisons, the emotional prisons, the physical prisons, the financial prisons, that guess what? When the cell door is open, we refuse to leave. We have adorned ourselves. You know, we've furnished them. They got candles and fragrance inside the shell. So we don't leave. Do you see? It's a very interesting topic tonight. Many of us don't know what love is, but we know what pain is. We know what our wounds are. And we know how to manipulate people into getting what they need. And performing rituals isn't beyond a lot of folk. Are you engaging in the rituals of destruction? Hoodoo spells as a means to break and bind attachment? Now that's what you might want to use it for. Don't use it on a person. Where's the integrity in that? Destructive rituals often serve as symbolic attempts to sever unhealthy bonds, yet they risk recreating patterns of past trauma if not properly integrated. I don't know if, listen, can you conjure self-love? There's no conjuring to it. You look within and you embrace whatever you find. You embrace whatever you find without judgment. If you want to cultivate self-love. But you don't know how to love the self because maybe you weren't loved properly. Maybe you weren't educated on the fact that love, true love, develops first within you. And say, no, your parents give it to you. Well, typically, everybody's a work in progress, so you're not going to get the best love you can get from your parents. You're getting the love that is designed to teach you how to love. Listen to what I said. From your parent, your primary caregiver, you are getting a type of love that is designed to teach you how to love yourself. So it must be partially incomplete on some level. Right? If they haven't done the work, if they haven't started the work, they are giving you a piece of love. The rest of it is on you to cultivate from within. Hard thing to do. And as Leroy from Inglewood would say, we don't have an example of that. Yes, maybe you don't. But that isn't the argument for every scenario in human development. There were human beings that didn't have an example of what a pyramid was, but they conceptualized it. They didn't have an example of what civilization was, yet they created it. So do you understand? I think people oftentimes say it's a crutch. You gotta have a pre-existing example. No, sometimes you have to become the example that wasn't available for you. It's up to you to conceptualize the new idea, the new concept. The conjuring of self-love, transforming attachment wounds into inner wholeness. This is the key. Don't try to use rituals and magic and African spirituality and ancient African American spirituality to get somebody, to keep somebody. Do you know folk that do that? When we come forward, we're going to continue to break this thing down. Hey, bro, Davey Lee, thank you, sir. It's tomorrow, but I appreciate that. It's tomorrow. Well, today is my Friday, Thursday. God's tomahawk. Lee, thanks for the cash app, bro. Shout out to you, Big Brother Zoe. Thank you, Suge Mac 510. Sometimes I get weary, but get right back to scrubbing them. I love that. Baseboards. People attempt the self-love part all the time. That is called masturbate, and that is a form of conjure. And then they have problems with real relation. I think that's self-pleasure, pleasuring the self. I think the self-love I'm talking about is more aligned with accepting the self, right? But you're 100% right, though. Davy Lee, we got two cash apps. Davy Lee and Brett. Davy Lee and Brett. Those are the two who dropped cash apps today. That first hour gone. Davy Lee and Brett Nzinga, they are the ones who hit the cash app. Mm.
All right, so let's talk about the most important kind of spell, right? The love spell. So every time we do an action, it's reflected back to us. But when we are trying to control someone, when we are trying to make someone feel a certain way or do a certain thing, we are interfering with the law of free will, which is a huge karmic cluster. It's a very bad thing to do. It's worse almost than casting, like a binding or a protection spell, because you're really trying to control how someone thinks and feels. So it's super important to remember, as tempting as it may be to try to get him to love you back, don't do it. It is going to cause you a lot of trouble in your life.
Negative self-talk is a spell, right? It's a spell. Spells are everywhere. Please understand that, right? They're everywhere. In every belief system. It's a spell, right? You beat yourself up. I'm super hard on myself. I'm very critical. That's a spell too, right? You're creating a pattern of putting yourself down, of demeaning yourself. Then you live in this space of cognitive dissonance by expecting someone to come in and understand you and love you. Why not take all of the ancient African belief systems or ancient African American belief systems? That even sounds crazy. Ancient African American, right? Why not take all of those spiritual practices that we used to do and use them for individuation, merging our shadow with our mask, right? Our mask is the highest form of magic we use, because who we really are behind the mask is the portion of ourselves that we rebuke, that we rebuff. The mask itself is magical because it is a projection of an idealized version of who we want the world to see us as, and we use that mask to extrapolate gratification, validation, acknowledgement, acceptance, when in fact, behind the mask, we are not giving that to ourselves. We are invalidating our shadow by ignoring it. We are invalidating the reality of who we are by trying to suppress that and be what the world wants us to be. This is magic. This is magic. The ritual of liberation, breaking free from attachment illusions to break or to embrace true love. How do you do that? How do you use the ritual? How do you create a liberation ritual that allows you to break free from attachment wounds and or illusions for the purpose of embracing true love? Liberation from attachment illusions begin when we recognize and deconstruct the patterns that foster dependency rather than genuine connection. Well, how do you do that? You have to first go somewhere, anywhere. It could be church, it could be to a therapist, but you have to get into the mirror of relationship to where you can see how you show up. Right? Seeing how you show up is to say, oh, wow, that's a blind spot. Sometimes you need someone to walk with you to show you a blind spot that you did not know about up until that point or up until that relationship. The blind spot is revealed. Now you're responsible for what you know. And what is knowledge if you don't apply that knowledge to something? Okay, I know that I feel this way because when I was a child, I had a parent that didn't give me what I needed, or I had parents that didn't give me what I needed, or I had parents that abused me. I had parents that neglected me. I had parents that abandoned me. I had parents that were in and out. I had a parent that was there, but wasn't there emotionally. They were there physically, but wasn't there emotionally. So once you start to reveal to yourself what it is you have to work on, what it is you have to embrace without judgment, right? Now you can begin to create rituals around liberating yourself from identifying with the coping mechanisms you created in order to survive. Do you see? The ritual of liberation, breaking free from attachment illusions so that you can embrace true self-love. Hey, I'm not what they molded me into. Right? I'm the ice, not the ice tray. I can throw the ice tray away, melt, and then form myself into what I want to be. Do you see? This is heavy stuff tonight. A lot of people don't know they've been casting spells on themselves for years. And of course, Nikki from the SIP brought up a great point. An outside spell has really no power over you unless you invite it in. When we come forward, it's going to get even crazier. That's right. Miss JB, it's our time of year, Miss JB. It's our time. The birthday is tomorrow. The birthday is cracking tomorrow. You know I'm going to be at the cigar lounge. Turned up. Well, turned down. Turned up for me is sitting there watching a TV show. Hey, you guys are doing a great job. Oh, you going to Cigar Week? Dope, 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 dope. Bring back some great cigars. Nothing like going, what is that? A Houston? The taxes over there are so much better. You're going to get a whole bunch of cigars that are not nearly as expensive as the ones here. What up, Rev L Ratchet? Thank you, fam. Thank you. Come on, JB. You just sent a cash app. Hey, y'all shout out Miss JB. She just sent me a little piece of change for my birthday. Thank you. I did get you one for yours. That's right. Love it, love it, love it.
Black love still exists.
I'll let you know.
Fantasies and fetishes. Financial infidelity. I'm dating a bad person. Are they worth the wait? Trust me, this gonna be crazy.
What up?
The child wasn't his, and you still had to pay child support.
It's a very heated topic.
How is that right?
Mama's baby, daddy's maybe.
I just have so many questions I want to ask you.
I don't think the kids, is there something wrong with that?
He told me he had a vasectomy. I'm pregnant.
Betrayal has been committed. Hit you with a bad vibes routine. How does he maintain his humposity?
He likes it when it pinches my lips.
Why can't you open up, brother?
I'm a karate man on the inside. They're gonna show their weaknesses. Yeah.
How do you write my name so well?
So Williams,
Reason and accountability.
the voice of reason.
You, as someone who may be struggling with codependency or high empathy, or you have just been with a narcissist so long that your Amy the amygdala and Harry the hippocampus have figured out that if you just give this person a pacifier, they leave you the hell alone. Still not healthy. You're still in a narcissistic codependent tango. Your life is still like you're wading water. You're not getting anywhere. You're just trying to get through the next moment. And I personally don't feel like that's the way to live. And I knew that when I started to wake up to my own codependency and who I believed my ex's vulnerable narcissistic traits, when I began to wake up and I realized that if I didn't change, my children were doomed for the same fate as I, because all I did was follow the subconscious pattern and program that had been downloaded into my psyche. And at a subconscious level, it is what it is. You can only see what you believe.
What in the world? It's all magic. This is a deep topic. We got a caller on the line. I want to get to him. But she brought up something that was quite important. It was very important, exceedingly important. And that is this. If you are vibrating at the level of fear, which the majority of people are, right? You're going to be hypersensitive to all types of slights that may come in the form of or may come with those interactions, those intimate interactions. Because everybody is interacting from a mask level. It's very rare that you find people interacting from a heart level where they can be unapologetically themselves. So typically there is a portion, fear does this, there is a portion of the self that is kept away not only from the individual, but from the person they are interacting with. And this made me think, of course, Dr. David R. Hawkins' consciousness grid. And we get into the consciousness grid. In several of his books, he talked about how the dominant force on planet Earth, and he's talking about the consciousness level that is pervading the entire Earth, is the consciousness of fear. And he said that's on the force side of his power versus force grid. Now, please understand, force is, how do I say? Well, let's say it this way. You guys know how I make the distinction between demand and command. When you're commanding something, you don't have to ask for it because you're embodying whatever it may be. When you're demanding something, it's because you're bereft of it. You don't have it. So at the fear level, in his books, he said the majority of the planet, over 99% of the planet, is vibrating at the consciousness level of fear. Look at how he describes fear. Punitive, get back. Oh, there's some ritual kitchen magicians out there that are doing spells to get back at lovers who may have jilted them, lovers who may have cheated on them. Listen, punitive, right? That's the God view, punitive. The life view is frightening. Where there is a frightening life view, there will be hyper vigilance. Oh, I hope it ain't this. I hope it ain't. These are spells that we're constantly speaking into the relationship environment. Well, I hope you're telling the truth because the last person, do you understand? That's the life view. He says the consciousness level is fear. The log, or the numerical value, is 100. And then he says the emotion is anxiety. That's the predominant fear. This is who you're dealing with. Most folk, this is, I thought you wouldn't understand. That's why I didn't tell you. That's why I didn't share. I thought you would judge me. I thought, anxiety. Most of us are racked with it. Now, this is very interesting right here. The process, the life process, he describes as withdrawal. I could do bad all by myself. That's a spell. I don't need somebody to try to come in and disrupt what I... Do you see? Do you see? In the spirit of radical thought, dismantling attachment as a construct challenges the social norms that conflate love with transactional binding, right? The ritual of liberation, inspired by ancient hoodoo in this context, and modern contemplative practices that they call mindfulness, invites a profound reawakening towards self-realized love. Many of us don't know how to engage in self-realized love. Well, again, the whole self must be embraced. There can't be an aspect of you that you don't approve of. Listen to what I'm saying. There can't be an aspect of you that you haven't accepted. Do you see? You think you can do a spell on somebody to keep them with you when you want to discard aspects of yourself. The irony. Studies on mindfulness and relational therapy underscore that the abandonment of illusory attachments can lead to enhanced emotional resilience and authentic love. You're going to need to love yourself without judgment, approve of yourself without condemnation. What happened to you in childhood is not who you are. It's not. I'm sorry to tell you that. It's not who you are. Are Chapman's 5 love languages, right? Are these love languages a type of spell, right? Is a relationship expectation born out of unhealed wounds a spell you are casting? Just like casting a rod into a river, are you fishing with the spell? Listen, listen. I know people don't want to hear it put this way, but this is real talk tonight. How might conjuring attachment through ritual mimicry mask an inner absence of self-love, thereby obstructing an authentic emergence of love? Sheesh. Has someone cast a spell on you? I want to know. We got a caller on the line. I want to get him in here. Sean, Oakland, California, what are your thoughts on tonight's topic?
Oh my goodness, brother. My thing is, we always got to treat those around us who enlighten us and raise our spirits. And you know, look, parenting was my big league. I didn't make it to the big league, but parenting was my big league. So, you know, when you have people around you, brothers, that, you know, raise your life, you know, they check in on you. You know, they're doing things that, you know, help you raise your game, and the game being life. That's what we need to focus on. Because a lot of times we get all, you know, messed up with all this social media that gives you a lot of, you know, BS. Yeah, I won't cuss. BS, you know, that, you know, it is not true. And, you know, and then people get all out of lockstep. It's better to understand what can you do for your friends, your family. My family is number one. My friends are right in there. And, you know, my mom, by the way, I just have to say, because I have to say that.
No, we understand, brother. Go ahead.
No, I'm taking a breath. My mom passed peacefully, but and it was always expected. But my mom always told me, make sure, even if I disagree with, she said, you know, make sure not to make those less than you feel bad. That's it. And she passed on the first day of Passover. I'm not kidding you. So I'm like, I'm not religious. I grew up, you know, Baptist, Methodist, and then, you know, Catholic churches, you know, wanted me to play for the teams, which I did. And, you know, they recruited. I got it. I got the whole message. But my mom, it's not a religious thing. She was very much like hating Jesus. And I was like, damn. I was like, thank you, Mom, because she gave me that, you know?
Man, hey, listen, Sean, you already know what it is. I appreciate you for calling in and opening your heart up, man. And we're going to say it again, man. Peace to you and your family's heart. We know when you lose a loved one, especially the matriarch of the family, it could be devastating. So I'm going to pray for you, brother. And I just ask that you take it one moment at a time, okay?
Thanks, brother, man. I appreciate you guys. And give Andy a big shout because, you know, I mean, it's a team. It's a team, and that's what we all do.
Yes,
We're
sir.
a team. We make it work.
Yes, sir. Guess what you just did?
Well, you know, I brought the world into the wow.
We appreciate it, man. Hey, if you want to bring your city in the building, all you got to do is call me at 1-800-920-1580. When we come forward, I'm going back to the phone lines. If you want to bring your city in the building, you know the routine. The number to dial, 1-800-920-1580.
The reasons that we're here, the reasons that we fear are...
Yeah. Appreciate everybody for being here. Let's see. Let's look it up. Wow. And there you have it. Woo! Tapped in. You will have what you say. I'm going to read it off, Miss JB. That was a jewel. Thank you guys for being in here. Hit that like button. I'm not going to ask anybody else to call in. If y'all want to call in, you'll call in. Napoleon Hill. Great book.
Transform relationship disasters into stand-up material live at Inglewood's Miracle Theater on May 31st at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. My clinic.
I am remembering.
Disclose all of your dating woes, while the Alpha Male of Comedy Ray Grady has hand-selected supremely talented comedians to roast all of our tragic relationship choices. I dare you to bring your ex's phone number because Ray, he's going to text it live, and the crowd will be sourcing emojis. Tickets are moving swiftly, so don't hesitate to grab yours at themiracleinglewood.com before I diagnose your dating history as a pre-existing condition.
It's the voice of reason with Zoe Williams on KBLA Talk 1580.
You're miserable and unhappy. Here's a cure. Find what's valuable and let it go. Well, maybe it's a relationship that you have, and the relationship is pathological, but you're locked into it, you value it, and you're suffering terribly because of it. Well, what do? Maybe you let it go. It's a sacrifice. And the idea is that, well, that'll clear the future for you.
Well, very frequently, when people are suffering, the reason that you're suffering is because you just won't let go of the thing that's biting you. And you think, well, I can't let go of it. And I've had clients like this. I can't stop communicating with my mother, who phones me 3 times a day, every day of my life, and never says anything that isn't unbelievably critical and demeaning. That's not such a good idea. The funny thing, too, often when people let something like that go, it goes away, sorts itself out, and then comes back. So they don't even end up losing it.
Wow. Again, man, we got to stop playing with things, man. And relationships is one thing you can't play with. There are no shortcuts, right? Relationship is designed for you to discover you and embrace you, the whole you. This is how you go, you get on the path of individuation, right? There's no shortcuts. Your partner can't do it for you. Even if they speak your quote unquote love language, right? Chapman's 5 love languages offer a lexicon for articulating connection. Yet, when we scrutinize their usage through the lens of attachment wounds and ritualized bonding, a radical counterintuitive interpretation emerges. Many who engage in these expressive practices, whether overtly diagnosing their behaviors as love languages or engaging in what might be called bonding and binding practices, may inadvertently be enacting elaborate expressions of their earlier emotional injuries. That's the cold piece. Even the magic is taking you back to the wound. The ritual is taking you back to a wound. That instead of embracing with love, you're going to try to control and manipulate someone with some type of magic. Well, let's look into that. Miss JB in the chat says the word grammar, and I had to go look it up. She put it in the chat. The word grammar? I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe what it meant. And you know, I don't just read Webster's, I go get an etymological dictionary, right? Etymology speaks to the origin of words and not just the definition. Webster's definition should be called a definitionary because it's not a dictionary. Diction is teaching you how to speak, right? A definition, it should be a definitionary instead of a dictionary. But that's neither here nor there. What's interesting is when you look up the etymological root of the word grammar, late 14th century Latin grammar, rules of grammar from Old English, grammar, learning, especially Latin and philosophy. Also, it means magic, incantation, grammar, spells. It even literally says mumbo jumbo. 12th century modern French. It means magic. So when I say you speak spells into your life, or negative self-talk can be perceived as a type of spell, people say, oh no, Zoe's just talking. No. Magic is pervasive, ubiquitous within our relationship environment. It is not only holographic, it is not only mirrored, but there's also some dark magic. And I'm calling it dark because of shadow. I'm calling it dark because those wounds are unrequited. They're deep-seated. They're unhealed. They come from your early childhood. We talked about it in previous shows where we said, when you are wounded at a particular time, a moment in time, wherever that wound happened, it's a timestamp on your spirit. So if you were 9 when it happened, whatever it might be, that's how you carry this wounded inner child with you. right? To elaborate, each love language can, at an implicit level, become a repository for past hurts if it is not grounded in robust self-love. When expressing when expressions such as gifts or words of affirmation or physical touch become the primary mode to signal care, they may mask a deeper insecurity, an unhealed wound from childhood or relational trauma. From a counterintuitive perspective, what appears to be genuine love may in fact be a sophisticated reenactment of attachment patterns. In these moments, the love language becomes less a bridge towards relational intimacy than a ritual designed to bind the self to past narratives of neediness and inadequacy. A process Newtonian in its inertia and self-reinforcing like an incantation. Listen, I'm gonna need you to show up the way my wounds need you to. Listen to what I'm saying. How many of you got deal breakers based on unhealed wounds? Do you see? The unhealed wound says, I have a need for this type of supply. It could be words of affirmation, right? Right? They could be words of affirmation. Or it could be physical touch, right? Some signal. That's a ritual being done. You're reinforcing the need as opposed to transcending the need. What is modern psychology doing, saying to people, we got to meet each other's needs? At some point, modern psychology has to integrate some kind of spiritual underpinning that says, no, we're to transcend each other's needs. Has it ever dawned on you why we can't experience unconditional love for the most part? And we've gotten to the point where we say, well, unconditional love is just the love I have for God or God has for me. Or again, Alfred Korzybski, the word is not the reality, or the map is not the territory. We'll say, oh, well, it's this type of love, agape. And physical love is eros. And no. The words they're not indicative of the level of consciousness we're talking about. Maybe we can't experience unconditional love because we're caught in the trap. We're caught in the cell, the prison of these unhealed wounds that have a desire, and then that desire will create these narratives. A person loves you if they show up right. Listen to that. This is how you know a man is really into you, because he shows up right. Wait a minute. That's a spell and a ritual. Because other men may have showed up right, but they weren't the right fit. What's your excuse then? Huh? Do you see what I'm saying? It ain't got nothing to do with how they show up. It has to do with why they need to show up according to the dictates of the wound. The wound is casting spells so that it can get supply. You heard Ross Rosenberg say earlier in an earlier clip, we have recontextualized the role of the codependent. They are also not just the victim, but they're also the villain because they're attracted to the toxicity that the narcissist brings. And if you're not doing deep dives into the reality of who you are, and you're just pushing, this is what I need, could you be under the spell that you've cast on yourself? Self-love deficient spells? When we come forward, we're going to peel this thing back even further. James B. So we need a black state of emergency ASAP. We do. The show is moving quickly. It's almost over, but what I don't understand is why the silence? No one's calling in? Are we done calling for the year? Let's see. They're watching and monitoring everything. Truth hurts. Thank you, Attila, for the Cash App urgents. We appreciate it. Truth hurts. Is the ancients the Holy Spirit? Is in the ancients, the Holy Spirit is feminine. Oh, Sophia. I see y'all. Yeah. I see y'all. Ask you a question. I love it. Dustin J. Calloway, what up? People. Oh, got you. Look, there's a bird. It's not I'm my brother's keeper, but rather I'm my sister's jailer. Damn. Sounds crazy. Huh. Interesting take. Oh. Please, Mr. Jailer. He went to the bathroom. He'll be right back, Miss JB. He in the back. That's funny. She picked right up on it. I thank you, man. Your Majesty of Yasharal. Did I say it right? My birthday is tomorrow, though. Thank you. John Waterside of the game. Ah, yeah, Foxhole days. Yeah. For sure, for sure, for sure, for sure. Cause you going to Cigar Week. My God. That is dope. Thank you guys for the likes. We appreciate it. Thank you guys. Dustin's. I just saw Lewis Dix, man. Lewis is great. Early great wishes. Happy early B Day. We appreciate it. Yeah. It's tomorrow. I will send you the comforter slash nurturer. The man may Be the head of the house, but the woman is the heart of the house. Yes. Yes, Lisa. Nzinga. No, that was a great point. Yep. R Stubbs, thank you.
Because here's the thing, if you say to me you love someone, again, I believe that real love is a two-way thing. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm going to throw that out there real quick. Maybe I'm wrong what I'm about to say, but to me, for you to be able to say you are in love with someone or love someone in a romantic sense, for a romantic relationship, and they do nothing for you, I think that's impossible. Because it's almost like there's nothing for you to love. You're attached. You're holding on to a fantasy in your head. Love requires that you're feeling something back and forth. There's something flowing between the two of you. That's how you're able to be like, okay, yes, I love
Hey,
you.
get him out of here. Get him out of here. I can't listen to no more. I mean no disrespect, but no more silly breakdowns. We are just do a little research, man. The antics of the Romans. That's where romance comes from. And they didn't even create it. It was created by the Moors during their conquest of Spain. The troubadours who came out of the Moorish Empire. You had harems of women, and the Moors empowered those women to be creative, and they wrote poems, and the troubadours came out of that, and this is what created the Latin romance that we're all enamored with. Love is not a game that's based on romance. Like, when I hear people talk like that, it's like watching an episode of Looney Tunes. And Pepe Le Pew is up here. No! That's a cartoon breakdown of what love actually is. Love is a high level of consciousness. It's not a set of actions. It's a two-way street. Listen. Love is in alignment with self-realization, self-actualization, the realization that your spirit is in no way, shape, or form disconnected from that of God's. That's what love is. According to Dr. David R. Hawkins' consciousness grid, love, listen, I told you earlier in the show, most of us are vibrating at 100. Which is fear. That's the consciousness level of fear. He postulated that 99% of the world It's vibrating at the fear level. Okay, we've got wars going on all over the world. Fear perpetuates war. Are they trying to take advantage of our resources, or they're on our land? Or do you see? No, this is our land. We came first. Do you see what's? That's where we are in relationship. I can't nurture you unless you give what I need. So it becomes transactional, right? You got to cater to my fear. What did he say? The emotion, anxiety. Look at what he says about love. The God view of the love level is loving. Do you see? The suffix ing means the continuance of it. It's ongoing. That's the God view of the consciousness level of love. It's ongoing. One would argue infinite. What's the life view? Benign. Earlier, he said the whole world is vibrating at the level of fear. War can exist in a benign environment. In other words, it's not going to hurt you. Look at how we view relationships. He gonna hurt me. It always ends up that she gonna hurt me. Somebody lying. Somebody lying. Somebody lying. There's this hypervigilance of always protect. Well, I need boundaries now, and we got to keep the boundaries up. Do you see? Somebody gonna try to disturb my. That's where we live. We're not at this level of consciousness where it is loving, ongoing. It is benign. It won't hurt. Right? He says the emotion vibrates at reverence. Sound familiar? Namaste. The divine in me recognizes the divine in you, so I will bow to you. If we're vibrating at fear, no wonder people doing rituals and magic, kitchen magic. I'm going to bind them to me. Or I'm going to ruin their relationship because they left me. Or I'm going to call in what I want. Do you see? Now, fear vibrates at the log number of 100. Listen, love is 4 times that at 500. He said the average human being is vibrating at 100, which is fear. Love is 4 times that at 500. Reverence. I love you because I know what's in you. And I know what's in you because I know what's in me, and it's the same thing. Namaste. The divine in me recognizes the divine in you. Reverence is the emotion. The process, listen, it gets even deep. The process is revelation. The infinity of this infinite nature of God and love. It keeps revealing more of itself. So there won't be a relationship that gets old and stale because revelation is part of it. See, you don't want to do the baby steps, which is self-revelation. Reveal you to you first. And instead of asking somebody to accept you, accept yourself first. There will be no need for that's the real ritual. The self-acceptance ritual, where I go into my personal cave and whatever I see in there, I love on it. Heavy stuff, right? Let's get Jay from Los Angeles in here. Jay, what are your thoughts on tonight's topic?
Let's get Jay Sean on.
Hey, I told you I needed. Hi, Dota.
How you doing, Jay?
I'm good. And there's so much. This is like a really powerful. I'm just trying to.
I got a question for you. You know that. I'm gonna ask you. Do you know anybody that's doing like rituals and lighting candles and getting readings and trying to control the outcome because they're unhealed themselves? Do you know people who do these things?
I know that I do those things.
Talk to me.
I do that. Don't really like candles for that, reasoning, but I do try to get information. For me, it's always information. And because I know that the it's like me listening to rap music. If I know that I'm vibrating higher, I can tap in and tap out. But if I'm weak, then that's how it will be. There's no balance of the scales. It's all information for me. I don't make it a be-all, end-all. But what I'm learning today is that I do cast spells. When I am in anger, and I am sharing whatever that is to that other person, it comes back to me.
Ooh.
And it's because I am saying something, and the universe doesn't know who is directed to. I've created my reality by the words that I've spoken.
Ooh.
And so that gets a little bit of what I'm learning tonight. Like, I'm really, like, putting the stake in it. Like, dang, Jim, like, really? So I appreciate this conversation because, yeah, I have cast spells unwillingly and unknowingly. But this is a conversation for the conscious. And so I just appreciate it because, we don't really think. Well, we're on hamster wheels. And this is what fear, the low level, and this is what I was sharing, in the emotions of frequency. Love is there, but joy and peace surpasses that. This is why it says, give me the peace of all understanding. Because it surpasses love. And then you get to an enlightenment. But we get stagnant because the world, it goes, from what I want to share, does it go beyond the womb? Even though the womb is there, when we come out the womb, this is what we see. There's a reality. So yeah, we're in the womb, but reality is teaching us. Also, the world teaches us to stay in fear. Watch the news. Be scared. See this. And there's a vibration, a mucky vibration, small, that rises. And next thing you know, you're caught in it and don't even know it. I did it this morning, going to work late. I'm late. I'm already in the hustle and bustle. I didn't meditate. I didn't pray. I didn't ask God for, I didn't thank God. I'm good in the car. But now I'm already in the mix. So I got to make sure that it has to be conscious. We have to break the mode and force ourselves to be conscious in a world that wants us to be unconscious. That teaches us fear. However, this is what I wanted to share. Fear and get on the roller coaster, which is excitement, go hand in hand. It's almost like feeding the wolf. Which one do you want to feed?
Keep going. You cooking, girl.
Which one do you want to feed?
Yeah.
They both carry that, but there's a more empowering context behind one that would be beneficial for me and my higher self. Is this? They both require the same feeling, and this is why they say don't worry about feelings because they change. What you feel will change, but what you know will remain.
Man, I love Miss JB. Miss JB! You already know what it is. It's Gemini season. You in the building. My birthday is tomorrow. Yours is at the end of the season. But guess what? You out here cooking. Hey, guess what you just did?
I bought my hood in the city.
Whoop. Yeah. Los Angeles is in the house. If you want to bring your city in the building, all you got to do is call me at 1-800-920-1580. She cooked with the rarest grease. When we come forward, we going back to the phone lines. Let's get it. Gemini time. Whoop. Hey, we appreciate the super chats. We got a couple more. I think somebody just did one. I was on the air when it came through. Empress. Thank you, Empress. Thank you. Thank you. Like I said, anybody want to shoot me a Cash App? I get that right now. Or if you want to support the channel, you could hit that $sign down at the bottom. We appreciate any and all love that is shown. Hey, man, this is a great topic. This is a great show, and I'm enjoying it. Y'all Gemini's cooking. Yeah. Hey, I hollered at Heru Ali. He good. Just wanted to let y'all know I tapped in with the good brother. Yeah, I tapped in with him. He responded. Food for thought. Gem in eyes. You know what it is. Bam. It's your birthday. Not yet. On the East Coast.
If somebody came to me and said, I love you, I don't want a thing from you, huh? He has done something tremendous to me. Nobody has said that to me before. And I always wanted something out of it.
Mm.
Either my body or my sex or my money or my something. And here you come along and tell me, look, I love you, but I don't want a thing from you.
Ooh.
What a tremendous thing it makes. You understand what it did to me? So,
Are y'all listening? The great Krishnamurti is describing what unconditional love is. Just understand you're under the spell of a wound that makes all intimate interactions conditional. Because of what happened, these are my parameters. Boundaries are now conditions. Expectations are conditions. Right? And there's this constant reenactment of it. You doing rituals to avoid the pain of it. According to the etymology of the word grammar, grammar means spells. The word grammar literally means spells. So you're asking God through a prayer, which is a spell. You're asking God through a prayer, right? Save me from this, save me from that, help me with this, give me that. And God gave you everything you've ever needed to give to yourself. And then you come back and ask for more. Whew, that's heavy. That's heavy. We got callers on the line. Arkansas, Davy Lee, what are your thoughts on tonight's topic?
Yeah, happy birthday, baby.
Come on, man. Not quite yet.
Oh, good. It's a birthday every day for your big dog every time you rise again.
Hey, man, I appreciate the shout out, man. Hey, guess what, though? I got Marvelous Marvin Hagler on my birthday. I got Mr. T on my birthday. Come on, let's go. I got two thugs with me. You know, man. What are your thoughts on tonight's topic?
Man, this is a great topic. I like what Miss J was talking about, because it make a lot of sense. Me always being a child, I always used to daydream and stuff like that. Since I went through my little spell of being burned, I used to be in a foster care system, so I had always a dream of seeing my mother, being with my mother again, being in my family's life again. And I used to always just sit up and daydream. So one day, when I got older in middle school, she ended up buying me this shirt that I used to always think about. It was my first polo, and I never forget it because it was always tied to me as a child for me wanting to be with her for so long.
Wow.
So it's just like you could create things for your mind for real, but you could also poison yourself, and this could be the ritualistic sabotage that you put yourself through by curating thoughts that you're not living out, thoughts that you're not really active in, and this could come to your demise because you could think about something that you really ain't got no meaning of thinking about it. That could come true, like death, wrongdoing, all type of things.
Yes.
That's why the mind is powerful. You got to move in the right type of life, or you could destroy other people's lives just by you not being in the right place.
Man.
So, it's a blessing and a burden, man. You got to be with it before you could just, put your thoughts into other things or people, because you never know if you sabotage somebody else with your own mindset.
Man, I love it, brother. I love it. Hey, man, guess what you just did?
I brought y'all to the sticks, baby, to the country, baby.
Down to the country. Now I'm talking about. We appreciate the call, man. Nothing but love. I can't get to the final caller because we're at the end of the show. So let me just send love to her. I love you, D from Detroit, but I can't grab the call because we are literally seconds away from the show ending. Listen, you already know what it is. I start the conversations. I'm not advocating being right, or I don't care about right, but I do believe we need to have these powerful conversations to understand the multiplicity of relationships, the duality of relationships, the light side, the dark side. We need to have expansive discussions if we want to have healthy, loving relationships. Listen, I'm Zoe Williams, the voice of reason. Tomorrow is my birthday. It's my day off. Man, I'm going to be chilling like a villain. I appreciate all of you guys for tapping in, tuning in, and participating on a daily basis. Means the world to me. And don't forget, the Miracle Theater, May 31st, not this weekend, but next weekend. Me and Ray Grady, the Alpha Male of Comedy, we're doing something incredible. Go get your tickets now. Go to themiracleinglewood.com, click events, scroll down to the date. You will see us. It's going to be on fire. Get your tickets now. Love y'all, and I'll see y'all next week. Deuces. Love y'all. Thank you guys. Appreciate y'all. And your brother is gone. Just like that. Deuces.